So this is my story. Um, I'm going to make this video for anybody who's ever had questions about what happened with me in the gym, why I sold it. Um, Also, maybe for my kids when they grow up, if they kind of want to know what happened with dad and I heard he owned a gym and all of that stuff. And then also just to kind of close a chapter. A lot of times I'm kind of ruminating on different thoughts that I've had and memories and lessons that I've learned. And so this is going to be kind of me getting all of that out and be able to, I guess, kind of move on. Um, so I'm going to start all the way back in college. I went to school at Platteville for 3 semesters studying engineering, and I was going to the gym with my roommates, everyone from the wing of my dorm. Everyone lifted. We would lift like 3 hours a day. Like there's a lot of weightlifting, and it was really fun. I was super strong. And one thing I just kind of realized was people would ask me questions sometimes. Hey, Pete, this is going on with my knee. What do you think? And I was no expert, but people coming to me kind of organically or naturally to ask me questions, I really wanted to know the answers so that I could help them. So that was kind of the first spark. I was studying engineering, and I realized I didn't want to do that full term, like long term for my career. And I decided to drop out of engineering school and join the Navy Reserve at the time. So I took a semester off, did the Navy Reserves, and then after that, I went to UW La Crosse to study fitness and nutrition. Had a great time in La Crosse, and that's where I found Eupraxia because they originated in La Crosse. Dr. Steve Sizz, he was a chiropractor originally and then opened the gyms there. He started it. One of my roommates in La Crosse was a part-time trainer there while he was going to school. And he said, hey, you should check out this gym. You're studying fitness and nutrition too. Maybe you could get a job there. So that's what I did. I ended up leading classes there, starting my first year there, which I was a sophomore. And I did that my whole college career at La Crosse. Ended up doing my internship there. Learned a lot about the ins and outs of business. I learned a ton from Dr. Sizz. He's very well versed in all of like business and fitness and stuff. Probably learned more from doing that job than I actually did from school, to be honest. He's a great mentor. Anyway, so learning all of that stuff and seeing a ton of like results from people at Eupraxia, like it just worked really well. For those of you who don't have context of Eupraxia, it's a small group fitness gym. So group classes, and then they also teach nutrition. The nutrition they teach is as close to paleo as it is to anything else. So it's mostly paleo, but just like whole food kind of things, or Whole30 if you've heard of that. Anyways, so I wanted to open up my own gym because I saw how helpful Eupraxia was to all these other people, and I wanted to help people. And this was, that's why I was going to school. So why wouldn't I open my own gym? But graduated, and for a while I was selling Spectrum internet in Walmarts. I was that guy with the iPad annoying people, asking them, if they wanted Spectrum internet. But I learned a little bit about sales there. And I kind of wanted to jump on the opportunity to go on a deployment if possible while I was still in the reserves for that experience. And the opportunity came up, so I actually got the choice between Djibouti, Africa, or Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, and I picked Cuba. So I got deployed to Guantanamo Bay, and that's where I met Shireen, my wife. So incredible blessing there. And one of the biggest things about that, as far as my fitness gym journey, was I would exercise super early in the morning, like 4 a.m., because we had early starts in the day at work. And Shireen started working out with me, which is how we got to know each other. And then word kind of spread, and I started doing little like group classes, like Eupraxia classes at the gym. They had this yoga studio kind of room. And more people started to hear about it and start coming, and like friends would come. And eventually we had like, some days we would have like 12 people in this class that I didn't really tell many people about. I wasn't advertising it. It just organically kind of grew. So I was leading these like 8 to 12 people group fitness classes at 4 a.m. in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba on base. And it just was kind of that reaffirming for me of, oh, this is your thing. Like this is what you were meant to do, kind of, which made me feel better about wanting to open the gym. I also was able to save a bunch of money while on deployment. You don't really have to buy much. So I was able to come back after deployment. I didn't have a job because I was deployed for 9 months. I was able to save some money. And then I was able to open the gym because of that. So it was a very unique situation, but it worked out perfect. So Eupraxia Grafton, we opened in fall of 2020. I spent most of the summer like renovating the building area and getting it ready, and that was kind of fun. So the first 2 years of Eupraxia, so now we kind of get into the nitty gritty of like my gym experience. I loved. It was obviously difficult, but I knew that it was going to be difficult going into it. And I was also, you're fresh. I had all these creative ideas. Nothing. It was my only plan. I didn't have a plan B. What if this doesn't work out? This is it. Like I'm running the gym. So it was my full-time gig, and Shreen and I were engaged, and then we got married that December or August. Sorry, August. So we got married, and then the gym opened actually. So we're married, but there's no kids. So I have tons of like free time pretty much, and I'm spending all of it on the gym. And the first couple of years started slow, built. Within the first couple of years, I think we got close to, 80, 90 members, which was perfect, really, really good. And I kind of my goal was always like 100, maybe 110. And this is where it comes to like lessons that I learned. Was going into it, I kind of thought, oh, I'll get my 100, 110 people, and then I'll be good. No. I'd like to point out quick, if there's anybody watching this that used to be a Eupraxia member at my gym, there's no personal attacks on anybody. This is all what I learned about myself, and about people in general, and about business and all of that stuff. But I didn't realize going into it, because I was new to business in general and to running a gym, that people leave. People leave. I came from the mindset of this is the best thing ever, and if anybody finds this place, they're going to stay forever. But that's my background, my mindset, my experience. A lot of people don't like working out in groups. A lot of people struggle with the food aspect of it, of staying healthy without like really intensive guidance. And everyone just has their own stuff going on in life. And a lot of times it was, unfortunately, an injury, almost always outside of the gym, but someone would get injured and then they'd never come back. Or a family issue, whether it was a death in the family or some other issues that happened, or they moved away. So there were all these things that kind of started reoccurring that I wasn't mentally prepared for originally, that people would leave. Again, I thought I'd get my 100, 110 people, build it to that, give them really good service, and give them great results and an awesome atmosphere, which Eupraxia is, and they would stay forever. That was just my a little ignorant mindset going into it, right? That's not the case. So that was my biggest lesson, is like one of my biggest lessons learned was people are going to do what people are going to do. Everyone's life is different. Everyone is coming at whatever they're doing, whatever they're trying, with a different background, different experiences, different expectations. And life just happens. Life just happens. It's just part of it. Anyway, so first 2 years were difficult, but really fun. And then I really started learning those lessons pretty quick that, you got to keep selling people. You got to keep bringing more people in. You got to keep bringing more people in. And even though I didn't mind sales, because I learned selling Spectrum pretty quick that I could do sales well, but I fell off pretty fast on the Spectrum sales once I found out that everything wasn't super kosher, and there was kind of a little bit of, we said this, but really this, and I couldn't sell then because you got to believe in what you have, your product. And I believe in the Eupraxia gym program so much that it was so easy for me to try and convince people and want to convince people to join and try it out. But anyway, so we get to year like 3. So I ran the gym for about 3.5 years before I sold it to my brother Mark. So fall of 2023, so this is 2024 right now, we're in September. Fall of 2023, things really started falling apart for me mentally. And it was a compounding effect, but it was a lot of like addictions that built on themselves because I felt so much stress, entrepreneur, small business owner. Small business owning is excruciating, especially if you don't like have employees and things like that. Like it's all on you. And so it's stressful. Makes sense, but life is stressful. I'm not making excuses, but so it started with overdoing caffeine. I'm not going to get too much into like the addictions and stuff. I might make a separate video about what I learned about that, but I was way overdoing the caffeine. So I was kind of burnt out because you're not supposed to overdo caffeine, but I was, so that I could have energy for classes. When I kind of got burned out from overdoing that, I started using nicotine pouches. I never like smoked or anything, but I would just do like just pure nicotine pouches in the lip, because you can't really tell that it's there. And nicotine gives you like a mental boost, like you feel better and like your dopamine levels are high. And it was really fun for like leading classes. Like it helped me. It felt good. And then that started to wear off. Like anything, you develop a tolerance. So my tolerance went sky high for caffeine to where it didn't do anything for me anymore. Same thing with nicotine. Tolerance goes up, not really doing anything for me anymore. And then I was just getting really upset, frustrated with all these gym things. I'd gotten to a point where I was kind of breaking even with the gym, but wasn't really making too much money. And now I had Henry was starting to grow up, and he was at the gym a bunch. So that's another added stress, even though everybody was great about him being at the gym, which I'm so grateful for. But yeah, so I would usually be a casual drinker, but that started creeping into the week. So now I'm kind of like hiding my nicotine pouches from everybody. Maybe not a good job at it, but I kind of was. I don't know why. And then I would start drinking during the week when I would have like a really stressful day. And I just realized I was starting to have a problem. I was also addicted to my phone because there's social media aspects of being a small business owner. You got to be on Instagram and Facebook so that you can have your community online, which has pros, obviously. It's good stuff. But then I would spend so much time just scrolling on my phone, and that was another addiction I had. So my like adrenal glands, like all of my good feeling hormones were essentially stretched to the max and burnt out and fried to where like I just didn't feel good anymore. And then I started eating junk food again because I just needed comfort in some way. Like I just wanted to feel better because I was feeling so run down and I was exhausted. You're waking up at 4 a.m. Monday through Friday to lead classes, and then every time you're leading classes, you have to be, encouraging, motivational, all of that stuff. So it's very tiring, especially over the long run, and when you're not taking care of yourself, which I started to not. So I'm eating junk food, feeling like garbage, and now I'm not even following what I'm preaching. So now it's getting harder to sell the gym to people because my self-confidence is going down. I'm not doing what I'm telling other people to do. And so then I started I don't think I was doing as good of a job leading classes at the gym. I think some people were starting to kind of see what was happening to me. I never really talked too much about it, but until after all of this happened. Anyways, I actually got like pretty severely depressed at one point too, and that's when I knew I needed to get out of the gym. I started to kind of put the weight of like my family on my shoulders, and like I didn't feel like I had purpose anymore, because I felt like my purpose was to provide for my family, and I was hoping this gym, my business, would do that, but it's very difficult to achieve a level of success in 3 years as a small business owner starting from scratch and your first business, to be able to provide enough like consistent income to provide for your family, which I understand. But it just wasn't. And so that was very frustrating for me. So one, I'm already kind of struggling with all these vices that are kind of basically wearing me down, and I'm exhausted all the time. There's no joy. I don't feel good. I'm not doing a good job selling. I'm not following my own advice. I feel like I'm suffering for how I'm leading the gym. And then like the financial stress, and now Shireen, at that point, Shireen was pregnant with our second kid, Vin. And now I'm just like, okay, so we're gonna have 2 kids. What am I gonna do? I'm still bringing Henry to the gym, but now he's running around, which is stressful because, there's swinging kettlebells, and it's just like, my head is about to explode with all of this stress that I was under, and I wasn't mitigating any of my stress in a healthy way. It was all unhealthy ways. I was exercising sometimes, but not nearly as much as I would want to. My sleep was garbage. All of these vices and addictions that I had. And it just compounded to where I felt trapped. And anybody who's dealt with like severe anxiety or depression knows what I'm talking about. Like I felt like I was being choked out. There was nothing to do other than like sprint away from everything. And at that point, that was pretty much fall of 2023. Mark, who is going to school for business, finance kind of stuff, he volunteered to run the gym for me. I think it was either October or November. He would lead the classes, and he would do some of the admin stuff to see if it's something he would want to take over at all. So he gave me that month break when I was at my breaking point. And when I say he saved my life, I mean, he saved my life. I'm not saying that lightly. So thank you, Mark, if you're watching this video. Anyway, so that was then. And then I was looking for buyers to take over the gym, because it's hard to explain it. And again, this is partly why I'm making this video, is so that I can kind of articulate where I was, how I was feeling, and what happened, so that I don't have to try and remember anymore. So that I have this as long as YouTube is a thing, at least I can look back on it. But I was trying to find a buyer in that winter of 2023, and some people kind of were in and out, and then eventually Mark said, you know what, okay, I'll do this. And so we did our transfer over in spring of 2024, and Mark took over the gym. And I was at that point, again, just to kind of reiterate, where my plan was in the fall of 2023, I either have to sell the gym or close. There was no, just get through this. It's just a tough period for you. And I'm not sure why exactly, but I was in such a bad state. And then especially the financial part of it, and not providing consistent income for my family, knowing that we were going to have 2 kids, and now what am I going to do when Shireen's at work and I have 2 kids at the gym and I'm supposed to lead classes? And then with my serious actual depression and anxiety, I couldn't do it. I couldn't physically. I was barely getting through each day at that point, surviving. It was very, very, very difficult. So I needed to stop being the owner of the gym. I had to. So what that means is either sell it or close. So I'm so grateful we didn't have to close, because Mark was able to take over, and he's doing a fantastic job. He's my brother. He had been there for years working out, and he's super smart, all those things. Fantastic. And now I can still be a part of the gym, lead classes sometimes, whatever. So it's fun. It's kind of comical because I had originally wanted to get the gym to a point where I don't have to run the admin stuff. I can just lead some classes from time to time, but be like the owner, and help when help is needed. Excuse me. But other than, I'm not the owner now, but that's still kind of where I'm at. Like, Mark's going to school, so if he's in a pinch, I can go lead classes for him, and I can still go work out, and it's my favorite way to work out. So it's incredible. All right, so that's that. I did write some notes here. I want to see if there's any. Oh yeah, so one of the biggest issues was, after getting out of the gym, was I had to like mourn the gym and mourn that part of my life, like grief for real. Because like I said, in college, I wanted to help people that asked questions. I was the fitness guy. And then in Gitmo, I was like, oh, I'm the fitness guy. And then for 3.5 years, I'm running the gym. I'm the fitness guy. So all of that is ingrained into my brain of I'm the fitness guy. I'm the fitness nutrition dude. That's who I am, and that's my identity. So it was an unbelievable struggle to let that go and to realize, oh, I was. And now my number one priority is being a father and a husband first. So my identity had to completely switch from fitness guy first to father and husband. And now what can I do as a father and husband to help my family, whatever job that might be? So it was very, very difficult to go through that kind of switch. And being a child of, my parents' generation was you worked one job. Like you got a job when you were 22 and you worked that job for 40 years until you retire. And it's still a lot of our generation is switching mindsets to be where you can work multiple different careers throughout your life. But that wasn't what I was kind of used to. And I never had a plan B. This was what I was going to do. I was going to be the gym guy forever. So, I think I'm through the worst of the mourning process for sure. And I just know I couldn't have done it any longer. I love that I still have all of that knowledge and that chapter of my life. I'm so grateful to my wife for having let me do that, because I wasn't contributing a ton financially, once in a while here and there, but she basically was, paying the bills, and I was going after my dream. And I'm just so glad that I did it. I succeeded at it, as far as I never missed a bill payment or a rent payment or anything at the gym. And I think I did end up helping a lot of people, and most of them are still there. So I get to see all of them, and I'm close friends with all of them. So it's incredible that I have that as a part of my life. Now what I'm doing is I'm waiting for this apprenticeship to start, in case anyone's curious what I'm up to now. So I'm currently working at a cabinet shop, wood shop, and then I'm also part-time installing low voltage like phone and cable into houses that are going up. And I'm waiting to get a call for this elevator apprenticeship. It's a union job that I applied for actually last fall, and I got on a list, and it's just a matter of getting the call to start. And so I'm excited to do that. I think it's going to be a really good career and help me fulfill my purpose now financially, and to help provide for my family, and to be a good father and husband. Yeah, I think one thing I missed that I just want to kind of add, if this would have done better earlier in the video, but I just thought of it, is one thing also that was really difficult for me was I wasn't a good business owner from the stance of I looked at everybody as a friend that I was trying to help. And in business, you're trying to help people. If you're not helping people solve their problems, then you're not a business. But I looked at all of the people there as my friends. And so what I really, really struggled with and kind of broke me down sometimes was when people would just stop showing up. I'd reach out and be like, hey, like, just want to check in. Like, are you okay? And then I get nothing. It's the what's the term? Ghosting, right? So I got ghosted on hundreds, maybe thousands of occasions over the 3.5 years by people that either they showed up once and then they never came back, or some people that were there for a long time and then just never came back and wouldn't respond. And I struggled with that because, again, I thought that I was friends with these people. And maybe they thought the same thing, and maybe they were embarrassed to get back to me because they didn't want to tell me the truth about whatever was really going on, which is fine. But if anyone has ever been like in a relationship and you care about somebody and they just stop messaging you, which is another, the ghosting, they ghosted you, that's rough. And like kind of you're just like confused and you're like, well, what did I do? Is it something I did wrong? To not have any closure or any answers. And that happened to me many times a month because dealing with such a large group of people leave, people come, people leave, people come, and trying to stay on track and trying to help people. And just, it was like people were breaking up with me 5 times a week. I lost a relationship, or 5 times a month, probably, not a week. But so that was just a really difficult mental hurdle for me. And I think that's part of why I realized I'm not great as a sole business owner. Maybe I could be like a teammate or like help work for a company, but to be the one and only guy and deal with that burden, I did not do very well. I also realized I struggled with time management because I would have hours in the day where I didn't have anything scheduled. And a lot of times I wouldn't do anything. Again, I had all these like vices and social media addictions. I'd be on social media and make the excuse of like, oh, well, this is good for the business. I need to be on social media, but I'm just scrolling. I'm not doing anything like advantageous for the business. So it's just some things I learned. So ultimately, I kind of just wanted to make this video for some closure on the gym part of my life, remind myself of some lessons that I learned. Anybody that is a gym member or was a gym member, I'm so grateful for you for being part of like me fulfilling my dream. Holy cow. Like I started my own business. My first try, it went 3.5 years and I sold it. Is amazing. Like I'm so grateful. And side note is like I've gotten rid of basically all of my vices. My last vice still is probably my phone. I'm on my phone too much. But the other ones I haven't had any issues with at all in months. And again, I was able to credit all that to Mark taking over and allowing me to, close the chapter, close the book on the gym life and move on to just trying to be a great father and husband as best as I can. So I'm hopeful and excited for this elevator apprenticeship. It's got really good benefits and a good pension, which is why I was really attracted to it. And I'm going to learn a bunch of new cool, fun skills. And I love working with my hands. And then I'm not dealing with like the admin side or, trying to be friends with people and then, maybe losing them as customers or clients and then feeling bad about it. So hopefully this was helpful, informative to anybody watching, and life is good. And I hope that God blesses your day. Thanks for watching.